Okay, tell us, any more questions? How about comments? Anybody want to make a comment?
My name is Johnny Dolce, I was from all over the state.
Another Fillmore, what they do, bring the company, nobody's who's working today? Okay. Anybody in the office? I'm gonna call to see. Okay.
One thing, we're talking about building, construction, restaurant, service.
Okay.
Nobody's talking about how people are gonna park their cars. Nobody's building any parking space nowhere. There is any
Parking?
parking.
On the street, parking
No,
lots?
a parking garage. There is enough
Parking.
money coming in, I believe, if it is, it's a mixed use. Building for residential, restaurant, and parking.
Yes.
Nobody builds parking space, I don't know.
Okay, and I have an answer here, but if we can find a location, I'd like to be in the parking garage business, and I'd like to only take cash. All right, Kathryn.
Yeah, I'd like to do that. I mean, it's
You might actually not want to be in the parking lot business.
No.
We,
we have an answer.
Thank you.
I believe it's, and maybe Andrew Miller in the audience can help me with this, 75% of the people that come to the arena take public transportation or walk or ride their bike. So Brooklyn is a place where public transportation is king and bicycles, you know. So the zoning in the area where we're developing doesn't call for parking for residential because it just isn't used. So I'm sure you're talking about different neighborhoods, but there are neighborhoods in Brooklyn.
Two Berries, you will live in Berries. Not Avenue, Fourth Avenue.
In Bay Ridge.
There is so many.
Oh, there's no parking in Bay Ridge, they double
so
and
many
triple
restaurants,
park.
they open every day.
Yeah.
I mean, valet parking. I don't know, there must be money. If you charge enough money, I think you can build it.
Oh, yeah.
Sitt doesn't like that issue.
No, he says he agrees. He agrees with you. He agrees with you. Okay. We're gonna get you a bicycle. We have a sponsor here today. I'm gonna get you a bike, okay? No, but you know what? Listen, the
Please wear a helmet. Please wear it. Safety first.
Okay, all right, I will.
Another question, but really, if anybody knows a parking garage, what else? Tell us your other issues here. We're listening to complaints, we don't like them, we don't answer. Any other questions? Yes?
Olivia, I'm sorry, excuse me.
Yes? Tell us who you are.
My name is Mary Smith. We're open social fish actually, but you mentioned before about the potential in East New York. Could you go a little bit into that? Like what kind of?
Well, what I actually said is, and that's going to take a lot of study, is that I believe everything can change, everything can get better. I mean, how else could I be a broker? I'm an ultimate optimist. I'm totally out of my mind to walk on the wild side. I mean, work on commission. Are we crazy? Rich one day, poor one day, whatever. Anyway, I believe because we've seen such incredible things happen in Red Hook, in Williamsburg, in neighborhoods that were untouched, right? Gowanus, really wonderful change, positive change. And I'm not just talking about high-end, I'm talking across the board, residential, commercial, that I do believe that we will get to East New York and we will get to Brownsville. I believe it's going to happen. It's only a matter of time, and it's going to take, just like in retail, that one developer, that one owner, that one retailer that jumps in the water, and then everybody says, this is great, I love it here. I remember one of the first Starbucks deals was in the middle of nowhere on the Upper West Side. Everybody said, are they crazy? And guess what? They made a path for a neighborhood. So it's the courage and the commitment. But I can't give you a time frame if I knew behind the scenes who or what then. Yes?
The reason that I ask is because I've been living right near that neighborhood for about 15 years, and I've noticed the change. I'm personally seeing it. Like when I commute, like back over, East New York was really untouched, and neighborhoods next to it really were untouched. Now you see a ton of change, a ton of growth. But now in East New York, which I would have never seen even 5 years
Well, why don't you think about Bushwick 5 years ago?
Right.
Because you had the artist community that were pushed out of Chelsea, and then first Meatpacking, and then Chelsea, and then downtown, Soho. They had to go, Williamsburg, they had to go somewhere. And now, of course, that's a little pricey for them. They will move somewhere else. That's all.
Further east,
Yeah. So we'll be visiting you in East New York. You'll take us to a great restaurant, and we'll say you told us so. Another question on this side? Yes, go ahead. Tell us who you are.
Hi, Kosi Remy. I'm with One Title. Yeah, I recently moved back to Lethbridge Gardens, and the area has changed unbelievably the last 10 years. Even the last 3 years, really. Can you tell me about any projects that you know of? Because I see a lot of restaurants with smaller restaurants opening up now. I'd like to see what large-scale plans are do around that area, and are you working on any projects that would be great?
I myself am not working on any projects, but I can tell you, many of the people that I work with in service, my Pilates teacher, some artists, they have all moved to Lethbridge Gardens, and I'm hearing about that. I personally am not working on anything. Kathy, anything?
No, we're not working on anything in Lethbridge Garden, but we have seen a tremendous number of, there's been a tremendous turnover in residential there, and again, it's very low rise, and so the restaurants obviously follow the change in residential, so it is, it's inevitable that it's gonna happen, but I don't know that there's any ability to do a large-scale development in Lethbridge Garden. I think it's probably zoned pretty low rise.
Well, I touching on what you were saying before, I wanted actually to pose my own question to Kathy. Because I dealt with Kathy on certain occasions, and one thing that I found very interesting, it has to do with what you said too, that it really requires a visionary to go into a neighborhood and say, we're going to make changes here. And Kathy discussed with me what they went through to rezone downtown. And I just wanted to touch, if you could tell us a little bit about that process, because obviously you have the tenure of many years in Forest City Ratner, so you can give us a little insight what it takes to do something like that. People, like Faith said, people thinking, they come to the neighborhood and say, oh, this is great, and they just do stuff. But if it wasn't for people like Forest City Ratner or even Thor thinking, yeah. So give us a little insight. What was that process? I know it was many, many years, but what was the process like?
So it was, it certainly wasn't me, it was Bruce Ratner, and he is a visionary, and he also, in many instances, doesn't take no for an answer, but he will say it also took a little luck. But I think it's making those relationships with the administration. I think it's doggedly pursuing and the people that you need to come here, whether it's the CEO of Chase at the time, or whether it is the CEO of Target to bring the first Target into the city, and being able to explain your passion to them and convince them of your passion, but you also have to be prepared to wait it out and to bring, for every one even fight that you get, you probably have to bring 25 people down here for that to happen. Or 100 or whatever it is. So again, the vision was first, and Bruce definitely came down to Brooklyn, and just from a proximity, a sheer proximity standpoint, he saw the flight of the back, what was the back office space. He saw it going to New Jersey. And he said, there's no reason why it should go to New Jersey. It should stay in New York City. And I think it should come to Brooklyn. And that's kind of where it started with Pierpont and Metro Tech. And it's just evolved from there.
Kathy, just refresh my memory. What year was the Metro Tech that they go into the ground? Because that's like at least 30 years, right? 25?
Late 80s, and then
Late 80s.
the last building was finished in 2003, something like that.
Okay. Any other questions here? Yes, yes.
How many development deals go wrong?
Did everybody hear that question? How many development deals go wrong? What's the matter with you?
that rezoning.
We're all about truth here. Yes.
Okay, I'm speaking.
Sorry.
She's still here. Okay.
You wanna ask again?
No, but again, how long did that deal take you to get the zoning rechanged? And as far as the vision, you know, how many deals have you actually had that vision and been successful in? Like,
So,
because I've done-
you know, hopefully none. Our company really doesn't stop, doesn't give up. I can think of one example in Brooklyn where we did purchase something, and it's actually now being redeveloped by Acadia. So we own what was the Albee Square Mall, and we did not keep it. It was not a profitable building for us, and it's now becoming City Point and some office, retail, and residential. So that was one we lost, for sure.
Any more questions? And Judy, you have your next panel ready to roll? Okay, listen. I think I want to thank everyone for coming. If there's any questions, you'll email. Do we miss any question you need answered in the New York Minute? Or else we have to go to the next panel. Judy, is your next panel ready?
Yes.
All I want to say is thank you. Thank you, Kathryn. Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Argyris. And thank you for having us in Brooklyn.